Hello. Check, check, 1, 2, 3. Hi everyone, my name is Peyton. I'm 23 years old and I've been living in Japan for the past 3 months. Let's do a little bit of a talk and I will tell you all about it. When I think about the 3 months, I kind of think about it in 3 different sections. The first month was harder than I expected. The second month was about what I expected. And the third month currently is going better than I expected. I think it essentially comes down to how long it took me to adjust to everything. The middle month, things caught up, and the last month or so, recently, I feel like I've caught up on everything. The most important point I want to talk about is the social life. The thing is, I'm a recent graduate in college. I'm 23 years old, so I still crave that community of like-minded, younger, mid-20s group of people. The good thing is there's all sorts of people my age, college students, maybe recent grads too, so there's definitely not a shortage. However, I do believe that when it comes to social life in Japan, finding and maintaining a fulfilling social life here is difficult for a few reasons. One, I'm currently not in college anymore, so I don't have access to clubs, dorm mates, people on the floor randomly knocking on my door. I don't have built-in social groups, and that has nothing to do with Japan. The way I describe Japan's social groups is that they're a little bit more slow and steady, but I think once you break in, you are welcomed with wide open arms. Now, I've been able to play volleyball through 2 ways. The Meetup app, which is essentially an app that allows people to meet up for a hobby or certain interests together, like photography, painting, reading books, walking in the park. I did volleyball. Problematic is that all of the meetings are about 1 hour away, which makes sense because logistically it's hard to find a lot of open gyms that aren't reserved for other volleyball teams or other sports, whatever it might be. So it makes it the only option. So I'm grateful in the sense that it's there, but I also realized the complications of doing this weekly or more takes a toll on me. So technically, while I do have the option to play volleyball often, I'm not really trying to go do a 2-hour round trip 2 times a week just to play volleyball. So I've had to lower that. However, on the flip side, I actually met a mom who plays volleyball and I basically asked her, do you have a volleyball group that plays and can I join with you guys? And she was extremely sweet, very kind, and she let me play. And she invited me to one of the practices. The gyms are a little bit far, maybe about 45 minutes or so. However, it also gave me direct access to people who speak Japanese, were very kind, it's free, and yeah, it was kind of a little bit of everything. But it's something I can just add on to my week, and it's a really good group of people too. And after the first few times of meeting, they invited me to an izakaya. Now here's the thing. An izakaya, if you aren't familiar, is like a pub or bar where you get some food and drinks after work or school or some activity. I thought we'd only be there for an hour or 2 eating and then we'd go separate ways. We stayed for 7 hours. Now here's the thing. This completely shifted my perception of Japan. This was probably my favorite experience I've had with other Japanese people and in general just experience in Japan over that long period of time. I got to speak Japanese, I got to meet all these people. Everyone opened up so much in a way I never expected before because Japanese people are typically a little bit more maybe reserved is one word, but when we got to the izakaya, a few drinks in, everyone's having a good time, I felt like I became like genuine friends with a good chunk of those people on that day alone, and it made me so happy, and it made me reframe how I see connection, how I want to hang out with people. I want to start going to izakayas even though I don't even drink that much. I want to do all these things, and I absolutely loved it. It made me love those people. I see them once a month, but it's my favorite time of the month every time I see them. So yeah, once you break into a group, it feels amazing. It's just kind of getting in is the difficulty. These are my volleyball shoes, by the way. What do we think? Now, one last thing I want to say about social life here is For someone like myself, being here 3 months, I didn't really have too many connections the first month, and maybe not even really the second month. But as I've been talking to people a little bit more, meeting up a little bit more here, sending some texts and kind of talking, I've been having more friends in Japan, which is cool. And I think that will only grow over the next few months and more. So the next thing I want to talk about is learning Japanese as a whole, because learning Japanese is a huge reason of why I'm here. I've always been really interested in learning languages. I like connecting with people. It directly ties into who I can meet, how well I can develop a connection with them, and yeah, it just makes life a lot easier here. It's often talked about as being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, hurdles of someone's experience in Japan. It opens up work opportunities, friendships, dating, how well you can order at KFC, and yeah, everything in between. For me personally, I would say learning Japanese has followed the same trend as my experience overall in Japan. It started off, actually no, it's kind of the opposite. It started off extremely high. I was extremely excited to learn Japanese. I'd probably say that was like the biggest part of my honeymoon phase in Japan, which was learning. I probably started off at like a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed speaking to other people, even if I sounded like a 2-year-old. I loved trying to order in Japanese. I was watching videos and listening and working on my pronunciation and grammar. I was doing everything for about a month. Then I got to about the halfway point, and I actually started losing a little bit of interest. And I don't think it was because of Japanese itself, but more so just because of how the structure was for my Japanese learning. And if you don't know, I was at a language school for about 3 months, which I just finished last week. And the thing is, for me, I really enjoyed the language school because of the people I met. I did enjoy learning Japanese because it gave me a great foundation. The thing about language school is that it teaches you a very textbook-focused way of learning, which is actually not bad at all. It's a very well-rounded way of learning. It helps you with things like passing tests that will help you get jobs here, and overall just makes you very competent in the language as a whole. However, for my personal goals, it sort of clashes in 2 ways. I want to speak Japanese well with other people, so my focus is on speaking and listening. Not that the other things like reading and writing aren't important, but I don't need to weigh them as equally. So spending equal amounts of time, actually if not much more time, on writing and reading conflicted with what my goals were for Japanese. And that started to show personally in how much I was enjoying the language. Another thing too is, while I very much enjoyed meeting people at the school, that was probably easily the best part, is the teachers, the staff, and the people I met. Being at a school again after just graduating in this fixed location for 4 or 5 hours a day is not what I wanted. And that has nothing to do with the school's quality or anything else. I don't think there's any school that I would have wanted. And I think that's why for me, I decided to only do 3 months, even before I started the school, just because I knew I wanted structure when I came in to get some learning, meet some people, but afterwards I would do much better just studying on my own and figuring out what it is that I wanted in Japanese. And yeah, to be honest, the first month I was really into Japanese. The second month it lowered a lot, and the third month it was extremely low. I was not studying at all after class. I wasn't speaking to people. I wasn't even really practicing at all. I think my enjoyment of Japanese dropped a lot in the last month. However, in the past 2 weeks since finishing school, my Japanese interest is probably at the highest it's ever been, which is really interesting, and I'm very happy about that, because now I have a much better idea with where I want to go with Japanese, how I want to get there, and the process is so much more enjoyable now. And the funny thing too is I'm actually going to be getting tutoring from one of the teachers at the school, who was one of my favorite teachers, so I'll still be in contact with my friends that I made there, one of my favorite teachers, and I now get to also learn in a way that benefits me best. So that's lovely.